Good day everyone, I'm Lamli Chi. Now I will be presenting on my final year project, Ukiran Art and Craft Training Center, a wood carving inspired institution. The site is located in between the Kuala Lumpur city area and Kampung Baru, separated by the Klang River, where I believe it has the potential to become a focal point where it brings both people on the two sides of river together. The art and craft industry in the Kampung Baru has demonstrated a positive development. However, they are only popular among the locals and still not well known by outsiders due to lack of exposure to the public. Art and craft of Kampung Baru is an asset of the old generation, and it is important to preserve this unique asset, especially in an urban context of concrete jungle. The idea is to create an institution that harnesses the memory and history of Kampung Baru to allow the future generation to recognize and appreciate the glory of art and craft in Kampung Baru. So, I intend to build an art and craft training center to recognize the potential of art and craft industry in Kampung Baru and promote it to a larger context. At the same time, creating mutual understanding and connection between the people of Kampung Baru and Kuala Lumpur city area. The design is inspired by the unique Malay vernacular wood carving technique and is a reinterpretation of the analogy of tembok-tembus carving. The four spirits of the wood carving technique, permeability, connectivity, aesthetic, and identity, will be incorporated into the facade, structural, and spatial design. Inspired by the tembok-tembus, the facade creates a series of frame and geometrical patterns, allowing for daylight and ventilation, at the same time allow for visual and spatial connectivity. The facade also contains rattan weaving that demonstrate the Malay motifs, which hold a strong identity on the context, and it is very appropriate to be incorporated into the art and craft training center. Just like the wood carve, a series of porous and flexible space will be created to facilitate communication and progressive learning in the center. The interplay of solid void in the space allows for people in different spaces to overlap on each other, thus promote interaction and communication, and most importantly, allow for visual communication for them to see and learn from each other, which is much appropriate for a training institution. In responding to the site context, the Klang River, Kampung Baru, and Kuala Lumpur city area, the ground floor is designed in such a way that it opens up towards the surroundings to allow for access to the building. The building massing has different responses towards the site, for example, visual response towards Salomar Bridge and Kampung Baru, and hierarchical response towards the Kuala Lumpur city area. The space and floor area is designed in such a way that allows for spatial permeability from different directions. Then lastly, the facade which complies to the design concept is incorporated to the building. With the use of series of pilates, the ground floor will have maximum permeability for the visitors to come from different directions and allow for visual connectivity on the activity. The use of timber structure column and beam tends to showcase the beauty of timber as a traditional building material that is flexible to fit into a modern building. The floor is arranged to have a hierarchy response towards the height of the building at the back. The timber facade covers and wraps the building, giving it the overall form. The sculptural and unique facade treatment stand out within the context which is full of concrete and steel, and it will become a landmark in the future which draw people's attention from Kuala Lumpur city area and Kampung Baru. The building form is inspired by the Malay Royal Tengkolok as a commemoration of the historical event of Kampung Baru as a piece of land given by the Sultan. It is a powerful and influential symbol and brings pride for the art and craft in Kampung Baru. The dynamic form and facade imitates the motion of the Tengkolok being wrapped, and the peak massing suggests a hierarchy on form, and also function as a space overlooking towards the historical Kampung Baru and also Salomar Bridge. Being the unique features of the building, the timber facade starts with a primary timber skeletons, which used to support the digrade-like timber structure. Then, the intersect points between the digrade timber and the floor are being secured with round hollow structural section, transferring the weight of facade to the beam. The rattan weaving panel is then added to the digrade frame, further enriching the context of facade. Then lastly, the timber rain screen roof structure is added as a final touch-up, and it is supported by the timber column. This construction detail allows the facade to be portrayed as if it is floating above the ground, giving it a light and elegant presence. The building program aims to implement the three core ideas, which is to recognize, revitalize, and rehabilitate. To recognize and learn more about the beauty of art and craft in Kampung Baru, then to revitalize and promote the art and craft industry in Kampung Baru to a larger context. Lastly, using art and craft as a medium to create public awareness about the historical significance of Klang River and Kampung Baru. The interactive workshop is an open workshop where it allows for better communication and interaction between the participants, and at the same time allow others to be exposed to some of the process and knowledge of craft making, thus drawing attention and interest on the art and craft in Kampung Baru. The central event space is a theatre-like plaza where it serves as a multi-purpose space and allows for different events to be held here. The open and anonymous space allows for interaction between the community and further promotes the art and craft industry. It also serves as a performance platform to allow for the visitors to appreciate the beauty of traditional performing arts. The skylights allow daylight to splash into the interior, further emphasizing the importance of the space. The Sky Gallery is located at the highest position of the building, where it serves as a gallery that showcases the history and information of Klang River and Kampung Baru. It also allows visitors to take a great view towards the Klang River, Kampung Baru, and Saloma Bridge, further evoking the sense of belongings towards the site context after knowing the history of it. The extensive use of timber with a contemporary form is a reinterpretation of the Malay house in a contemporary way, and also the inspiration of wood carving technique on the facade is a unique architectural expression that responds to the art and craft industry and construction technique in Kampung Baru. As a conclusion, this proposal of Art and Craft Training Center will be more meaningful and bring positive impacts for both the Kuala Lumpur city area and Kampung Baru. Being the last piece of Malay reserve at Kuala Lumpur, Kampung Baru needs a place for people to remember the past and history and embrace on the future possibility development. This project will become an iconic piece of architecture which resembles the culture and memories in Kampung Baru that sits on the contrasting context, drawing people from Kuala Lumpur city area and at the same time overlooking on Kampung Baru in the present as if it is in the past.